Hi guys, gonna do a possibly quick video today. Getting more tomatoes harvested these days, and one of my favorite things to do is to make salsa with it. My paste tomatoes really haven't come into fruition quite yet, so right now my staple is doing salsa because I go through salsa pretty quickly. And I'm just going to show you how I do my salsa. Now we're going to just do a caveat here. Everybody makes salsa differently. My version here in East Tennessee, having lived in South Florida, my version is going to be basically what I have available and my taste. So you do whatever it is you want to do with your salsa, but I'm just going to show you probably my key step in making my salsa much better. Now, I used to, once upon a time in the great beyond. So I used to, back in the day, I would do basically what is considered to be pico de gallo, which everything is raw. You chop everything up fine and throw it all together with whatever spices and level of heat you want to make it, and go at it that way, which is good. But it also has more of a crispy nature to it. It takes a while for it to get in there and kind of loosen up. And so I found the best way of doing my salsa. And, oh, the eyelid's going again. Here, we'll do this so you don't freak out too much. Or we'll just reverse it again. Back to the star. So my not so secret weapon when I make my salsa is I oven roast everything. So I just went out. These are some tomatoes that I picked several days ago. So these are like the oldest ones. They may be getting a little soft, maybe splitting a little bit. This is a hybrid. It's called a purple boy. It's a hybrid between Cherokee purple and one of the better boy or something like that tomatoes. I really like it. It's nice and sweet. And roasting these guys, oh my God, they're like candy. And you're sitting there going, well, does that really make a great salsa? For me, it does, because I'm the kind of person who likes the peach and the mango, that kind of stuff. This guy, more firm, so that one I'll probably keep. This one's got a little split in it, so I'll probably go ahead and use that. This one's pretty good, so we'll keep that. Kind of go through and just kind of grade everything. This is a Thorberg's terracotta. These are okay tomatoes. I tried this for the first time. I got the seeds from Baker Creek. They taste pretty good, but the problem is the plants are not doing well health-wise. I had to tear out, I had 2 plants here. I had to tear out one almost immediately because it started dying, so it wouldn't spread anything. And the guy that this one came from, it's still producing, but it's really not looking good. So I foresee having to go through. So my area is really bad for late blight. And I think that's what got this guy. So these are the older tomatoes. I also have this little container that I also picked the same time. These are the Juliet tomatoes that I really like. I will make tomato sauce with these guys too, just don't have as many of them right now. So rather than keep them for forever, although these guys are kind of, that one's a little soft. The rest of these guys look pretty okay. And then I've got this basket down here that's got more of the Juliets, more of the purple boys, more of the terracottas. So I'm gonna go through them, wash everything, chop them up, and put them in my my Pyrex baking dish. This is one of those, is it 11 by 15, it says 11 by 15 glass pan. I don't spray it with anything. I don't really do anything. I don't do olive oil, anything. Now, if I was roasting this for, pasta sauce or something like that, yeah, I'd probably put a little olive oil in there, but I don't with my salsa. Other ingredient are my peppers. So I wanted to show you these guys. So these all look kind of jalapeno-esque, and you'd be kind of right. So starting from the right here, this is a regular jalapeno. So this is going to be one of the spicier ones. And this one that looks kind of jalapeno-y, but a little bit more blocky. And you can notice going from the top, it looks almost like a little bell pepper. This is a variety called pizza pepper. It's in between a sweet pepper and a jalapeno pepper. So this got a little bit more kick to it, but still for, wimps like me who don't really like things spicy, hot. This guy is going to be much less heat than this guy, but still has a little zip to it. And this one right here on the left, this is one of my Felicity peppers. And yes, I made sure. So far, I don't think I have been caught in the great pepper debacle. Evidently, there were some varieties of pepper seeds that were mislabeled this year and sent out and sold by other seed companies. And people were expecting one thing and got the other. So far, now you'll notice these guys are all green. That's okay. If you want to wait until they turn red, you can do that. The only thing that when you have a pepper like this, if you want to go for the color, the plant itself, once the fruit starts ripening and turning color and the seeds mature, that's going to tell the plant that it's probably going to want to slow down on production. So if you want to continue and have more of a harvest, pick the peppers green. But if you want to, like these guys, so this is a pimento pepper. It's the Ashe County Pimento Pepper. It's an heirloom from my neck of the woods, Ashe County, North Carolina. And this guy is an heirloom and open pollinated, so I can save the seeds from one of these guys. So this pepper right here is red, so it's ripe. Now, if I had left it on the bush a little bit longer to get kind of soft and start to drying, that would ripen the seeds even more. But, I picked these guys just because I wanted to start harvesting so I could make my pimento peppers and make my pimento cheese. So these pimento peppers, there's not really, you can make pimento cheese out of pretty much any kind of red pepper you want to, but I think there's just something about the pimento actual varieties that make it a little bit more pimento-y. Pimenton is basically just another word for pepper. So you can make paprika out of any red pepper. You can make pimento pepper, canning some of them, make your own pimento cheese, pretty much out of any red pepper, but I just like these guys. They're a little short and blocky, and you can eat them to raw in salads. There's nothing really weird about them. They're just a pepper, and they're pretty. So what I'm going to do, the way I do my pimento peppers, so that I have them for, later on in the year when I don't have access to the ones right off the bush. What I do with these guys is I roast them too. I de-seed. I just roast the whole thing whole. I throw the whole thing into the pan. So this is going to be done the same time that I'm doing all the ingredients for the salsa, but it's not going to be used for the same thing. So what I do with these guys, when I get them out, they've sufficiently cooked down. The skin is very easy to peel off, and I just take off the skin, take out the seeds, take out the stem blossom, the blossom ends and stuff like that, and chop them up, and then I throw them into ice cube trays, and I freeze them, and then I throw the little blocks of ice cubes, the pimento cubes into the freezer and then take them out as I need them. So I've got 3 of these guys over here. I can also eat these guys green if I wanted to, but I've got other kinds of peppers, so I don't really have to. So I'm gonna do all 3 of these peppers. I've got some onion that I picked, finally had success. Hello, Mr. J. No, I'm not talking to you. I know, right? It's too hot, don't go outside. Finally had success with onions this year. So much so that I'm really gonna have to start finding uses for onions, because I don't think I'm going to be able to, I don't think all of them are keeping type. So I'll have to think about doing like cooking them down to make things like, you know, French onion soup and things like that. But I'm going to throw a few of those in there to also roast. I'm going to throw a few cloves of garlic from my garden. I've got some parsley from my garden. So pretty much everything that's going in here except for the salt, the pepper, and I'm going to throw a little cumin in at the end to give it a little kick, a little extra depth of flavor. Pretty much everything that's going into the salsa is directly from my garden, which I'm very happy about. All right, so I'm going to get to chopping and washing and chopping and throwing everything in the pan. I will show you what it looks like when I get done. Okay, so we got some salsa components ready to go into the oven. So one thing you'll notice, y'all, is everything is nice and chunky. I think I ended up using 8 tomatoes, and I just chopped them in, you know, I cut them in half and then quartered them and then sliced off the core section. And then if it was a larger section, I went ahead and cut that in half. The onions that I used were pretty small, so I just chunked those up into fourths, and as they cook, they'll break up. Same thing with the peppers. Just cut those guys, you know, cut off the stem end, cut them in half down the long end, pulled out the seeds and the white ribs, and then just kind of chunked them up. And then I got a really small head of garlic that I was able to segment, pull off the skins, and just throw them in there whole. They're not huge, you know, but it's going to be okay, because once they're roasted, we're going to use the food processor and whiz them down to the consistency that we want. You want chunky salsa, you don't whiz it as much. You want pretty smooth salsa, yeah, whiz the crap out of it. So I'm going to have this in here. It's a 350 degree oven. I'm going to do it for about half an hour. I'm going to check on it and see how things are cooking down. See if it needs more time. And then once I think that it's pretty much on the way out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the oven and leave the salsa stuff in here in the oven. I've also got the pimento peppers in their own little roasting Pyrex dish. Just, you know, I'm going to do the same thing. You can maybe be able to see. Don't want to let too much of the heat out. They're all starting to blister up just a little bit, so. But these guys, they're going to be, the crap's going to be cooked out of them, so. We want them nice and soft. And you notice I didn't cut them up or anything like that. I can show you what I do with them too. Okay, so here are the results after roasting. I roasted it a little longer than half an hour. It was more like an hour, but to no effect. You can see onion right here and a couple onions here, and along the edges of the pan there's a little bit of caramelization, but you know, this is caramelized sugar. Very nice. And the other added benefit of doing this, you can see there's some water in here, but not as much as if I just went and chopped up all those tomatoes and everything and threw it in to make the pico de gallo kind of stuff. So this is still a little warm. I just took it out of the oven. I also have the pimento peppers in there. I'll take them out a little bit and start taking the skinning the seeds off and everything like that, and getting them chopped up. And I'll show you that part too. But cooling off time, back in a few. Okay, continuation of the pimento peppers, because that's what I got to first. So, of course, I forgot to start filming. So here are my 3 pimento peppers that I have pulled off the little stem caps, pulled off the skin. It was very, very easy. Dun, dun, dun. Now, if I wanted to go further on, I could take the skin and the seeds and everything and dehydrate them and make pepper, powder and stuff like that. But these guys are really not the spicy ones, so if I was going to do something like that, I'd do it with the jalapenos or the serranos that I'm going to be doing. So here are the guys. You can see these little brown bits, just caramelization. It's a good thing. And so I thought while I was doing this that one of the reasons why you would want to do actual peppers designed for being pimento peppers is that they have a little bit thicker wall to it. These guys aren't too bad, but a little bit thicker wall with these guys. And of course, with roasting, it pulls out a lot of the moisture and things like that. So, but that's it. So I've got my little, here's my little, I have ice cube trays that are just specifically for doing, freezing whatever I want to freeze. I can do garlic, chop up garlic in some olive oil, throw them in here. Just takes a little bit of olive oil because you don't want to get too much in there, otherwise it gets messy. And do the garlic that way. Your freezer will smell like garlic for quite a long time. And then these guys, I'm just going to take this, put it on my little cutting board, cut it into strips, and then crosswise to make, maybe third, half an inch little strips like you would with pimento cheese. And then when I get enough, I scoop them up, throw them in the tray. This is not going to make a whole heck of a lot, but I just, as I get them, I do them once the fruit are ripening a little bit faster, because these are the first 3 ripe ones of the year. So I just want to take care of them before I lose track. One of the reasons why I prefer to freeze my pimento peppers for doing the pimento cheese is that when canning, you always have to use some kind of a brine. And the stuff, the pimento peppers that you buy that are canned or jarred and canned in the grocery store and things like that, I'll use them once I run out of these guys. But it always has a weird taste, even when I rinse them. So I really prefer doing this way because it's just the straight pimento. And then I can just, depending on how much pimento cheese I'm taking out, can take out 1, 2, 3 little pimento cubes and let them defrost for a few hours, and then start making my base and throw the peppers in and fold them in. Num num nums. Now, if I could just get a cow so I can make my own cream cheese and cheddar cheese, but that's not going to happen. Don't have enough time. But, and look, there's hardly any liquid in the bottom of the pan because they were all enclosed. But I'm going to be taking that fluid, blowing them out. So, not a biggie. Yep. So that's me doing pimento peppers. Freeze, freeze, freeze. Okay, so here are the end results of those 3 pimento peppers. Now, these guys were like 2.5, 3 inches in diameter. So I've got about almost 5. This one over here is not quite as full as the others. And so you can see they're just kind of sliced up into small little chunks as best I could. They're slippery, so some of them are a little bit more perfect than others. And I just kind of pat them down, make them a little bit more condensed. And then I will just throw this tray. Of course, I've got space for more. And this is one of those trays that have some of the holes are small and some of them are bigger, so that you can stack them on top of each other. On when pepper season is in full swing, I can do this. I can stack 2 or 3 of these guys up and then do them all at one time. But this way, they don't go to waste. They don't go start rotting or anything like that while I'm waiting for more to come in. So I'm just going to stick this in the freezer. It takes, I usually leave them in there for a good 24 hours. And then I can take them out, pop them out of the tray. I don't have to spray. These are just a little cheapy. I think I got these at Dollar Tree. There was a stack of 3 or 4 of them. Dollar Tree, so they were like $1. This is back when Dollar Tree was really $1. And I've had them for a few years. And this is pretty much what I use them for. The garlic and the pimentos. Sometimes I'll do chopped tomato if I have time and patience to do that. But I'll take these guys when they're fully frozen. I'll take them out and put them into a freezer bag. Put them back in the freezer with a label on them and the date. But I'm running out of pimento peppers before the end of, winter, no less, before the next fresh pimento peppers are coming out. So I'm going to try really hard to keep up with these guys and so that they can keep producing more fruit. Because they will. Peppers are usually pretty good about keeping on producing up until it gets, cold. When I know that there's going to be a frost and or freeze, I'll go out and pick as many things I can, whether they're red or green. And then toward the end of my pimento pepper processing, I'll have, blocks of green pimento peppers, which makes for kind of weird pimento cheese, but it all eats good. All right, so set up to start with the next stage of making the salsa. Okay, this is the first go around of the salsa. So basically what I did was I took my ladle and I ladled stuff from the pan into, this is my little, I guess it's like a 2-cup food processor. I could use a larger food processor if I had more to actually do, but I don't really. So it takes 2 go-arounds in this thing. So not quite 4 cups, but that's plenty for me. So I went ahead and did a more loose, but you'll notice not a lot of liquid in here, which is good. And it's more of a consistency like the stuff in the grocery store. I know that looked a little weird, but it tastes real good. So I'm going to whiz this little cup here. There was some fluid still in the bottom. I went ahead and added it to this. I think this is thick enough. It's not going to be too thinned out. And then I'll add the rest of this stuff. Okay, so here's the end result. Not anywhere near as watery as salsa I've made in the past, so this is why oven roasting the veggies is my new go-to. So tasting it, taste the tomato. You can kind of taste the background of the onion and the pepper. Got a little bit of the bite of the jalapeno pepper going on there. As it develops its flavors and stuff like that, it'll probably be a little bit more prominent. But I'm going to add a few other things. So I've got just a seasoned salt. This is stuff I got at Ollie's for like $2 a pound of it. And sprinkle in some, if it'll sprinkle. There it goes. So this stuff is, come on, there you go. So it's got, does it tell you what's in it? I Thought it did. Oh, it's got stuff in it. And then I've got some ground black pepper. Throw that in here. I've got some powdered garlic. I know I've already put some roasted garlic in here, but I like garlic, so we're going to do that. And then cumin. Just a little bit. And then, ooh, forgot something. So, I also forgot my parsley. Again, forgot it with the last batch of salsa too. But that's okay. So, my last ingredient is some lemon juice. I really like this Nellie and Joe's. They make key lime juice as well. This is just lemon juice. And just throw in a little bit of that. That'll help with a little bit with the preserving it a little bit so it lasts longer. Now this stuff is not going to last for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've got one batch in the refrigerator right now that I'm going to need to get used up pretty quickly, so I'm probably going to be making getting some ground beef and makings for burritos or fajitas. So you can see there's some chunkiness still to it, but not like, you know, not going to be able to slip it through a straw. And taste test. Mighty tasty. All right, well that's my recipe. And then what I do with it is, you know, the whole recycle, reuse, reduce kind of deal. I save glass jars from stuff I get in the grocery store. This is a jar of pasta sauce from Mids, one of my favorites when I can't make my own. And it's got a nice little quart size to it. And so I'm going to get my little funnel, get all these little things out of the way first, and then just funnel that into the jar. Put a date on the label of what it is so I don't try and forget and use it as pasta sauce, because might be good, might be weird. So we'll just put a date on it, label it as salsa, so we know kind of how far along it is, how long in the tooth it is. And that's it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And bon appetit. Here we go in our jar with our salsa and the date on it. And so that made pretty much a quart. And you know, you think about the salsas you can buy in the grocery store and stuff like that. I mean, a quart of salsa, buying 8 tomatoes and peppers and onions and garlic and all that kind of stuff. And you get to control the ingredients and how thick you want it and how hot you want it with the peppers and all that good stuff. This is why I grow tomatoes. Well, one of the reasons. Haha. Okay, so here's our little pimento cubes here. Let's see what they do when I pop them out of the thing. Okay, so that was easy. So nice little cubes. We've got our freezer bag dated. I probably could have just put down 2023. Not that they're going to make it too much into 2024 after, but just throw these guys into the bag, zip them up, try and keep the camera in focus. And zip them up, get most of the air out of there. There's going to be a little bit of ice crystallization eventually as you open and close the bag. So if you wanted to do individual portions in smaller little bags, you can do that too. I have actually as well, whenever I have to buy pimento peppers at the grocery store, you know, I'll wash those out and save them. I won't fill up the jar as high as they would have, but you know, the stuff you buy in the grocery store, it comes in a brine, and so there's a lot of fluid in there. So I'll put, you know, maybe 3/4, fill it up, put the lid on, and put it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then later on when I need them, I'll take it out and either leave it out on the counter to defrost a little bit faster, or put it in the refrigerator it'll take, you know, a few days to fully defrost, but it does it. So yay, first batch, not a big one, but it'll start picking up. I already noticed there's like 4 or 5 of them out there that are getting close to needing to be picked. So yay, pimento peppers.